Almost.
Almost.
There you go. Good luck.
Yep. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Sancho, I see you waiting there. Hold on, let me catch this before it. There we go. Let's get into today's Woke Ass Wednesday. Just another edition, because the sanity never ends. But with the United States getting Trump back in office coming up, beginning like when, January or something, or when is
January,
it? Yeah, January. Maybe the wokeness will go the other way a little bit.
I feel like at this point it's gotten like way worse. You're seeing a lot of extreme behavior.
Well, yeah, because they're panicking because it's not going to be this way for long.
Right. It's like,
so
just gotta tone it down.
We don't vote here and we don't deal with that, but it is nice to see that we might have some normalization going back into the world.
It's like, we don't vote, but this is the most politically involved we've been ever.
Yes.
And we had the Amish that came out, and
that shocked me. I mean, in Pennsylvania, the Amish came out in groves to vote. But to vote.
Yeah.
I mean, they came, they signed up then, and they voted to get Trump into office. Yeah. I mean, that's big.
It's registered to vote, just like in the Native American community. They voted 62% voted for Republican for the first time in over 20 years or something. So
yeah, it was a big deal. I was actually reading other articles or other comments from people. There was one from Poland. There was one from I know Europe, and what was the other one? Canada.
Yeah, I think so.
People from all those places saying that it was such a big deal that Trump got into office.
Really strange.
Because they said that if he didn't, this world could have been at an end. They said that their countries would have followed after ours.
Yeah, because apparently they do. And they say that we set the tone for a lot of the Western civilization across Europe and of course, in the English-speaking,
exactly.
Country. So it was kind of interesting to find out that our politics do play that much of a role in the rest of the world.
Yes.
That was enlightening. I didn't know that. I mean, even Isaac from Australia, he talks about that.
Yeah, he does. He's big on that.
So that's really, I didn't know that. It's like, I always thought it was interesting because he would talk, Guru would talk with his friends from Mexico, and he had somebody from Japan, and they all knew about our politics. They all knew about Trump at the time. And it was like, we don't know anything about any other country's presidents or parliament or anything. It's like, it's just crazy to me that.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
It's big.
So I'm glad that there might be some hope out there for a lot of these people.
I hope so.
It's like, it's definitely got to mellow out because.
Exactly.
Now I hear that they're shaving their heads and wearing masks.
Oh, yeah. We'll see what happens there.
Nonsense. And somebody made a valid point saying, well, Manson's girls also had shaved their heads and, as an act of solidarity, just, and you saw how that turned out.
I know.
So.
That, yes. All right, so we got Sancho. He said, I'm here. I don't know how you do it, but you guys always make great content. Not to sound cheesy, but I think the strength comes from your family. And then Daughter of Otten, if not mistaken, it's a fact that women vote more than men. So it could be women's fault Trump got back in.
It could be. They are blaming, dumb white women for making this happen.
Yeah.
But, the Democrats were definitely trying to pander to the women, because their platform was mostly women's rights.
Exactly.
Women's health care, and then, of course, trans and gay, those were their two main platforms they were going off of. So.
Well, supposedly Kamala's main whole staple, according to Matt Walsh, was about the abortion.
And she didn't even get that right.
No, and it was all false information. And it's like, we've been saying it from the start. It's like, it is absolutely ridiculous, the stuff that they are spewing out there about abortions.
Yeah, just saying it's calling it healthcare in general. It's like, okay, that's a whole different thing, But you don't go to Planned Parenthood because you have a problem with your pregnancy.
Yeah.
That's just my main thing is you just don't go to Planned Parenthood for health care. You go there for an abortion.
Exactly. Yes.
So my main thing is like, why you gotta have so many money making opportunities with this?
Yeah, because it's all about Planned Parenthood coming out and having more places. It's what this whole mess has been about.
Well, hell, they had a mobile vasectomy clinic at one of their rallies, and they had
the Democratic rally. Yeah,
and also at the same rally they had the mobile abortion unit.
Yes.
Now they weren't doing surgeries in there or anything, but they were administering that damn pill.
And they showed. I mean,
they did. They showed it. I mean, they showed it straight up, but it was really concealed for certain kinds of people, like
Yes,
like Bo. When he went there, he had a really hard time trying to find out about it.
Yeah, he did.
Nicholas had a hard time finding out about it. They're like, oh no, that's not happening here. And then you get right there, video footage.
There it is.
But in either case, I guess tonight's stream is about people who have been unfriended and blocked by their Democratic liberal friends and family. We've maybe experienced this with one of our friends. She went ghost in November 2016.
Yeah.
And she was one to point a finger and say, you're the problem if you don't vote.
Exactly.
Yes, and then I haven't talked to her since. I have not talked to her since then. So
no, she went in complete ghost mode. Like there was no trying to find her.
Yeah, that was crazy because we just talked like a week before that and everything was fine. And then all of a sudden, I didn't hear from her. And I tried to reach out to Josh, and they blocked me, and it was like, wow, it's
sad.
That's really weird, So I do think, in my heart of hearts, that part of that was she blamed me for not, voting and for contributing to this problem.
Exactly, she did.
So we are 8 years later, and people are still doing it.
Oh, it's gotten worse.
It's gotten worse. It's migrated into family life.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say about it,
I know. So let's check it out.
All right, let's check it out and get on with this. And I know you have stuff to do, and then you'll join us in a little bit, right?
Okay, I'm gonna watch.
All right, I got a short that we're gonna do first, and then that's gonna go into the first one, and then we got a Curly and a Matt Walsh.
When someone voted that way, do you recommend, just from a psychological standpoint, being around them? You got the holidays coming up.
So I love that you asked this question because, there is a push, I think just a societal norm that if somebody is your family, that they are entitled to your time. And I think the answer is absolutely not. So if you are going into a situation where you have family members, where you have close friends who have voted in ways that are against you, like what you said, against your livelihood. And it's completely fine to not be around those people and to tell them why.
All right, before I start on with this, though, there's a difference between knowing of, like, somebody's toxic for you, not good for you, and cutting them off over just flat out, I don't even know what to call it, the toxicity that they raise.
I don't know. I feel that you should be able to separate yourself from religion and politics for
the
most part when you're dealing with a family. Just set up good boundaries. Say, I'm not going to discuss that with you. I'll talk about this, and this, but I will not talk about that.
Exactly.
And it keeps, good fences make good neighbors, as they say.
Yes.
But definitely, I don't disagree with cutting, truly toxic people out.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes.
But everybody just does it like it's just so easy.
It's ridiculous. It's their go-to. I don't want to talk to you because I don't have a good way of saying this.
Right.
And you'll overcome me and be better.
Right. There's like, it's just a general, I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah,
it
is.
Like, this is, it's selfish. But, when you really make that decision for real, when you make your decision to cut people out of your life, it's not easy.
No, it's not at all easy.
It's like the last thing that you want to do.
Exactly.
And it's a bad now, it's like a trend.
And that's sad. It's sad to see.
Yeah, for
sure. I want to make this abundantly clear. If you voted for Trump, do not ever speak to me ever again.
If you're my friend, if you think that we're friends and you voted for Trump, I can assure you that we're not, and I fucking hate you. And I will tell that to your face. Just remove me at this point, because I'm not going to talk to you about it.
Oh, bitch, I want your head in a jar on my nightstand.
I don't know which one of you needs to hear this, but apparently it's more than one. If you are one of the people commenting on my stuff and saying, Kaylin, even though I voted for Trump, I just want you to know that I still love you and I wish you the best. I just want you to know you have a parasocial relationship with me. You don't know me at all, because if you met me in real life, I wouldn't like you. I'm gonna say it again. If we met in real life, I wouldn't like you. I have like gaydar, but with Trump supporters. It's like I can suss it out usually. If you are coming into my comments and you're hoping that there's a safe space for you there, I want you to know that there's not.
Wow, that is outrageously stupid sounding. She's got a gaydar, but for Trump supporters, yeah.
Anyways, I'm just here to tell you that you don't like me as much as you thought you did, because I wouldn't like you in real life.
Trump voters who are upset that their loved ones, their neighbors, their friends, their book talk girlies are cutting them out or blocking them, and you don't understand why. You don't understand why we can't just be nice to each other despite politics. We are making healthy boundaries to protect ourselves from people who will actively work against our safety, the health, well-being, and lives of our community members. We cannot change your behavior. You have shown you will be complicit in your own oppression, and that makes you dangerous.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and back to a brand new video with a brand new mic. Hey. So as you saw from the intro, Lord have mercy, we're going to be talking about a phenomenon that I've been seeing for quite some time now, ever since Donald Trump got elected almost a week ago now today. And it's of liberals, particularly liberal women, who have decided to cut off their entire family. I'm talking about moms, pops, brothers, sisters, neighbors, sometimes children, friends that you've been with for 30 years. Doesn't matter. If you voted for Donald Trump, that is the deciding factor, and we no longer can be friends. I don't want to see you. I don't want to look at you. I don't want to smell you. I don't want to be in your proximity. Stay away from me. You are dangerous. And in this video, I want to talk about why that perspective literally does nothing for yourself, for the country, and for humanity. All it does is make you look like a crazy person.
Hold on, I got a Ku Klux Klan member on my page. Let me block this Ku Klux Klan member.
If you're voting for Trump, I hate you. Politics is that deep. It's been that deep. It's always been that deep. Like, I don't care how long you've known me or if we cool, like, just fucking block me. Just block me right now. Like, I hate you. I fucking hate you.
You knew the house was burning down.
See, the main flaw with this whole I'm going to just cut everybody out of my life that doesn't agree with me is, first of all, you can't grow from that perspective, right? Like, there's no way that you can possibly think that that's productive, to just cut every single person out. It doesn't matter why you voted for Donald Trump. It doesn't matter what your issues were. It doesn't matter what your family situation is like. It doesn't matter. All that matters is you did something that didn't align with me. Me. And therefore, you have to go now because I'm upset. And here's my way of addressing how angry I am. I'm going to just cut you out of my life and make you suffer. Well, here's the irony. No one's suffering but you. Ta-da! I mean, honestly, right? People are not crying over the fact that their loved ones are now deciding to cut them out of their lives. What they're saying is, wow, I had no idea my loved one or my friend was that petty.
Christian or not, there is no reason why people should be unfriending or unfollowing people because of their political views. Because I've been called to love you no matter what, and I still do love you. Everything is my own opinion, and you're entitled to your own opinion.
If you want to go, baby, go ahead and walk out the door.
See, people who voted against Donald Trump voted against him for a litany of reasons, right? They feel like he's a danger to society. He's going to come against women and their rights, which is false. He hates minorities. False. He's going to bring back concentration camps. False. He's going to put African Americans back in chains. False. He's going to bring back Jim Crow. False. I mean, there are so many falsehoods with people's claims against Donald Trump. A lot of it is just fear tactics, right? And scare tactics and ways to get people controlled, which, by the way, happens from legacy media, which is extremely left-wing and left-leaning, and they have an agenda. And their agenda is not to give the news. Their agenda is to give you propaganda that you were supposed to believe and take in. And another point to make about this is Trump supporters didn't just come out of nowhere, right? This wasn't like, oh my God, I don't understand. They just came out of nowhere in one night. Where did they come from? We've always been here. The difference is in our society today, it is far more acceptable to have left-leaning, extreme liberal views. You can speak it on platforms, on social media. You won't get deplatformed. You are celebrated. It is socially acceptable in college, in the workplace, to be a left-leaning person. For people who are more conservative, for people who support Donald Trump, for people who have a different perspective, if it's not left-leaning, it gets shunned. You get looked at like you're crazy, like you got two heads. If you're on social media and you're an influencer, you will lose everything. If you're an actor or a singer, you risk losing your endorsements. You risk losing your career.
Okay.
This is supposed to be the party of inclusivity and tolerance and love your neighbor and all of this.
Exactly.
And they, there's so much hatred behind it.
Well, yeah, and even more so, we're supposed to live in the area that's even more like that. You know, the lesser amount of people usually should be the more tight-knit everybody is. Right. And that's just not the case around here.
No, I was so floored to see how many people were, like, in that same kind of mindset around here.
Yeah.
You know, because when I grew up here in this valley, it was very conservative, very, very red, very right-wing, you know, values and everything. There's, like, two main things that we have in this area, and that's churches and bars.
Yeah,
you know, that's
exactly.
The kind of community that it was. And yeah, now everybody still knows everybody and everybody knows each other's business. But they don't participate in the community. They don't have anything to do with each other if they can help it.
Exactly.
I don't know, it's like kind of like every man for himself sort of behavior.
And it's like, if somebody can cause issues around here, they will. Uh-huh. It's like, oh, who can we call and get in trouble this week?
This week, yeah. Like you either hear it from the neighbors talking about other neighbors, you know? And most of them they're actually left-leaning. And I'm like, that's really surprising to me.
Exactly. I mean, I don't know. You know, the amount of like hive-minded people, like it says,
yeah.
Because they want to be able to tell the government, look what he's doing.
Right.
I'm the good one.
Right.
And that's the mindset we're at now.
And it's funny with the whole, like, you know, platform of my body, my choice. It was funny they were talking about, like, how the government shouldn't tell you what to do, but they're the ones that force that vaccine on people.
Exactly.
People what to do with their body.
Well, I mean, we never got it.
No.
I wouldn't.
There's no way.
I mean, I said, take away our rights to go out in public, see what happens. You know, I knew there wasn't enough people that took it in order for them to be able to do that.
Right. And it's like they really tricked a lot of people.
They did.
You know, I bet you.
Goodness.
He was probably regretting it. You know.
Yeah, he only got one.
That's good.
You know, just the original, and that's it. And he hasn't gotten all of these. I mean, these people that are like, you know, oh, I'm going to get the vaccine because, you know, I'm not going to get the thing. But then they get it anyway.
And they get to.
Well, yeah, but see, when I got it, it wasn't as bad as it could have been.
Right.
How do you know?
Right. I mean, we have gotten, I would say, COVID probably twice.
Yes.
Tristan and I both have compromised immune systems with asthma and stuff. And the first time that he got it, before it was even a thing, it was scary. He got really close because it was really tight in the chest, and
yeah.
He spent like 3 days just not being able to breathe.
Exactly.
Got really close to wanting to take him to the hospital, but he came through it. He was like, you know, that next day he started to recover.
Yes.
And then every time that we've gotten it afterwards, it's not been a thing.
No, we knew what to expect and we knew what to do. I think the scary part was you didn't know what was coming next. You didn't know, is it going to get worse?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Right.
Yeah.
So, but it was like once you knew, and each time it's been lesser, you know, than
Yeah.
the previous time. And like I said, I think we've only gone to like twice, maybe 3 times. But
yeah, I don't know.
It could. I mean, that's still less than once a year.
Exactly.
From when it was when it came out, you know. But they scared people.
Oh my God, they did.
And they killed them, and it was a big experiment.
Yeah, they were
to
just
see what they could get
like,
away with.
oh my God, you know, if you don't get it, I mean, there's so many people dying when that was just not the case.
Yeah, it was kind of one of those things where it's like you go to the hospital for a splinter, and so you have COVID, you know, or you die because you get ran over by a car. Well, you died of COVID.
Well, it's like I had my bad motorcycle crash in the, what was it? The peak of COVID.
Yeah.
When it was really bad. Yeah, when it was really bad and stuff. And it was like, I could have had a concussion. My head was split open. There's videos on that.
Yeah.
And I still.
Was broke, your head was smashed. Your foot was smashed.
Yeah, my foot was like shattered in 3 spots.
At least.
Yeah.
It was totally smashed.
And, you know, I couldn't even walk on it. But I stayed away from the hospital for that matter that I didn't want to deal with it. And I knew that if I went to the hospital, they would be making me get the vaccine to be seen.
Right.
So there was no point in going. Now, it would have been different if I would have known that I had a concussion or the injuries might have been a little more severe.
Right.
Then I'm sure, you know, whatever has to be done has to be done. But I got lucky enough that, you know, I mean, my foot, took about 3 months to heal. And I mean, it's still healing.
Yeah,
It's never going to be that good, but it is what it is.
But it's not worth compromising your freedom.
No.
You know, it's like, that was a big social experiment. You know?
Yeah, for sure it was. Because, I mean, you had Fauci that flip-flopped so many times, you don't even know what his story is anymore.
I still don't even know.
Well, no, the last thing I know he said was, well, actually, none of that was even needed.
I know definitely about that 6 foot apart from everybody, that was not, you know, he said that was stupid. He's like, that was just spur of the moment and just had to pump something out, some sort of regulation. Like, but we now know who will listen and who won't.
They know, we know, everyone knows.
Yeah, so it's like, what are you going to be? You're going to be the sheep or you're going to be the resistance?
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm not opposed to all vaccines, and that's the problem. They started lumping us and calling us anti-vaxxers. I'm like, I'm not against all vaccines.
No.
I'm just against like the vaccines that have been developed in haste over the past like 20 years.
Exactly.
You know, like.
I mean, it's really funny that Bill Gates backed it.
Yeah, right.
You know, the guy of our generation that was supposed to be like the ultimate guy, and he goes and backs a vaccine.
Right.
When his main thing is Windows.
Tech. I know, what is a tech mogul doing with healthcare, you know?
That's really suspicious to me.
And he's overweight and he's pasty and he looks like he's got like 3 different diseases and we're supposed to listen to him regarding healthcare.
Exactly.
You know, I don't know, man. I don't trust him.
No. You can't trust any of them.
No.
Fear. So why would people who are used to getting yelled at and shouted at and told that they're Hitler lovers and fascists and evil and everything else under the sun, why would they willingly want to even have a conversation and talk about their views with you? They're not. They're going to let you spew your crap, and then they're going to go vote. And when it comes to losing things, I have direct experience with this. I'm going to share my story just a little bit with you guys. So for those of you who are new to my channel or don't know much about me, before getting into political and social commentary videos, I used to solely do curly hair content. And I was making pretty good money. I had a specific brand that would pay me up to $800 to $1,000 a month to do ads for them once a month. So I would do like 1 or 2 ads on a campaign, a quick reel on Instagram, and I would get paid $800. Like that's literally how easy the money was because they loved my hair and they wanted to showcase me. And I was on websites. Like I was making pretty good money as a side income or a side hustle being an influencer with hair. But what happened was I started to change my perspective on things when it came to social and economic issues. I started to educate myself more on what was happening in the school system, on what was happening with the transgender agenda when it comes to children and transitioning kids, putting them on Lupron, which is a medical castration that they give to pedophiles. I started doing more research and I started to be disgusted with what the left was okay with. And at that point in time, I definitely was more left leaning. See, growing up, I was more conservative. I started to move away from the right and I was more centered. And then as I started getting involved more in social media and just media in general, I became more left leaning. And I kind of just lost my way with the right. And I just, was chilling over here on the left. So I started doing curly hair content in 2020 when the pandemic happened. Then I got educated on things that were happening. And in doing that research, I started to really, question things. And I made a choice. And I said, I'm going to publicly start talking about things that I'm seeing online that I don't like. I was hopeful that in coming forward and speaking my truth, it wouldn't be a big issue, but I also knew it was a risk. I knew that me speaking out could get me canceled and I can get a backlash from my community of influencers when it comes to hair and skincare. And like clockwork, that's exactly what happened. So I did a video. I had watched Matt Walsh's What is a Woman, which goes deeply into the whole transgender movement and how they target children, and just, it's an amazing documentary. And I started posting clips of the documentary with my own commentary to it, speaking up and speaking out about children transitioning and why I'm not okay with that, like leave kids alone. And I want to say within maybe 24 to 48 hours, I lost every single sponsorship that I had, like that. I mean, I was canceled right away. I lost everything. I remember writing the company that I used to work for that would, pay me every month, asking them, hey, do you have any more campaigns for me? What's going on? And it was just radio silence. And by the way, prior to that, they would talk to me immediately. I would write them, I would get a response. All of a sudden, it was as if they didn't know me. And I knew exactly what was going on. And I was kind of prepared for that, so I understood. But of course, it was still hurtful, right? Because I'm like, man, I can't even have an opinion. Like, unless my opinion matches your leftist opinion, I can't have a space here. I can't speak. So I learned early on that if I wanted to be successful, if I wanted to coexist, I had to be quiet, pretty much, right? And I had to be silent. Well, that wasn't going to happen. So I leaned in to my perspectives and I changed my whole channel up. I went from hair content to political and social commentary content, and my page took off. My channel took off because I was authentically myself, as I still am. And I was talking about issues that a lot of people wanted to talk about, but were too scared to talk about because they would get in trouble or get canceled or lose their job or what have you. I can't tell you how many times I get people who write me in DM saying, I love your stuff. I wish I could say what you're saying, but I can't. Or, oh my God, you're saying exactly what I've been wanting to say for so long, and there's no space to even say this stuff without getting in trouble. And I love the fact that you're just saying it. So I'm not shocked by the results of this election because I've said this before. This election was a rejection of the left, of cancel culture, of woke culture, of this need to control our language and how we speak, what we say, what we're allowed to say.
Yeah, and that's another reason that I said what I said earlier, is it's the fact that this election was finally people saying enough of this wokeness that people are getting. They're sick and tired of it. That's why I'm hoping that we might go back a little bit on it, get it away from schools, get it away from where kids are seeing it and where kids are being affected by it. Yeah. That is a big issue.
Yeah, that's the main thing. I think that was where the line in the sand was drawn with the conservatives, was they started going into schools and they started doing pride parades in public spaces where they're not moderately dressed.
The newest one is this the cross-dressing story time.
Oh, the drag queens.
Yeah, the drag queen story time.
I know. Why?
Are you kidding me?
Who even thinks about that? Who comes up with that?
And I guess the worst part is there's actually parents that are taking their kids to it.
Right, and I've heard from, because they want them to be raised being exposed to all kinds of cultural things. Like, that's not cultural.
That's not. That's a pedophile thing.
Right, and there's been drag queens that have come right out and said, why do you want to have a drag queen babysit your child? What's so honorable about a drag queen?
And even the kids transitioning. There are so many transgender people are coming out saying, what are they doing?
Yeah.
Why are they forcing this? I mean, so many.
Right.
There's one of them that we like is the tranny. Offensive tranny.
You should submit for the new name.
I know.
Better.
But no, he's really good, and he says it exactly right. He says
I
it.
have a mental illness.
Yeah, the dysphoria. Yeah, one of those.
Yeah.
But he calls it exactly what it's supposed to be, and says, "Listen, that's what I have."
Right.
He's like, I know I'm not a female.
Right.
But I am transitioning.
Right, but even just to speak out against it in the slightest bit.
Yes.
It's like you're not part of the in crowd.
Exactly.
And that's my line too. It's like when you start trying to force that stuff on children and trying to say that it is, Tristan, that you have to respect people's pronouns and you have to respect them. Like, no, I really don't. I don't have to respect anybody. I mean, I will if you earn it. Did you hear anything from her?
No, there's a truck that I can see.
Hold on.
Tristan, wait.
Wait.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. It's a truck. She'll leave it if it's her.
She hasn't said anything hasn't he?
Jason's on his way, she said.
Oh, okay.
As far as I know, that's not.
If it looks shady when you get close, don't go closer, okay? Just wait, and they'll leave it. Sorry, everybody.
Yeah, we got a food delivery, and I was trying to make sure it's the person.
You can have them, but try not to use them. If you're sure it's good in your head.
Sancho said they get mad at you when you point out the fact that they cancel you when you stand up against them. And then it says, LongWalker's family, I have a question. Do you guys think this stuff right now will go down heavily in history?
I really do.
I think that this is what'll change everything.
Right.
Which for the better. I mean, look at the movie Idiocracy.
Right.
I mean this tipped the opposite way at these points for that movie.
Right. So this is like the pivotal point. It's like, where do we go from here? But
Yeah.
I do think that we'll be talking about it because it's just such a weird ripple.
I mean, the Obid in its own.
Yeah, that for sure.
Will go down in history.
For sure.
For what happened.
Right.
Whether right or whether not.
Right.
It still is big in the history.
Yeah. And then, I think so because it's been like this is like the Wild West. It's like the loosest and the tightest laws all at the same time.
Yeah.
I do. I think it's gonna be noteworthy.
Exactly.
In the history books, for sure.
It's a very communist-controlled big government movement on the left, which most Americans are not fans of. Shockingly, of course not. But if you live in an echo chamber like people on the left,
maybe it just looked like it.
They're going to be shocked by this. You don't know what exactly happened. I'm so confused. So it really is just a difference of perspectives. But here's my problem with people who are cutting family members off and friends off of 30 years, right? You have to be an extremely narcissistic person to believe that only your issues matter. And how dare you vote based on the interest of your family and yourself?
Too, dude, or just
it's okay for these women and these liberal men to vote for their issues, right? And what matters to them. But other people can't do that if it doesn't align with their perspective. Case in point, if you live in an area or a town that is right by a border state, or you're in a border state and you see what's happening at the border as far as the crisis, most likely your biggest issue as a voter is going to be security and the border. It's not going to be abortion. It's not going to be LGBTQIA rights. It's not going to be transgendered issues. It's going to be the border because you are directly affected by that. A person living in a different part of the country who isn't affected by the border, who has the luxury and the privilege to only vote based on some other issue, is it okay to then say, if you live in the border state, that you want my family dead, you want me dead, because you're not voting based on my safety at the border? No. A logical person would say, okay, you're voting on that issue because that issue speaks to you. Doesn't speak to me, it speaks to you, so I get it. But this issue directly affects my family and myself, so I'm voting this way. You vote your way, I'll vote my way, and we coexist. That's normally how democracy works when it comes to elections. But according to the left, their version of democracy is you must think like me, you must speak like me, and you must vote like me.
Yep.
And if you don't, you are the devil, and I want nothing to do with you.
And that's called a dictatorship.
Yeah.
That is people not wanting democracy anymore. That's all about, a dictatorship, and that's all about the ego.
Yeah.
You know, you can call it just like Satanism, or it's all about self.
Right. Exactly.
And that's it.
Thinking about the history, like if it's gonna be noteworthy in history, I got to thinking well, remember they tried to assassinate Trump twice.
Yes.
Because of this as well, so that's pretty noteworthy as well. So that's never happened before.
It means that the left was so intertwined and so concerned about Trump.
Yeah.
That twice somebody had to try and stop him.
Right. And then I had a second point, but I forgot.
Sorry.
That's fine. Something to do with this. Oh, I was thinking about how early they start the children off in the politics and everything too.
Yep.
And how his friend used to come down here and they were sitting there and I overheard them talking one day. And it's are you Republican or are you Democrat? She asked him. And he's like, what is that? I don't even know what either of those things are. It's well, a Democrat cares about the people and the Republicans care about the money. And he's Republicans are bad people. And, going up like that. And I went over and I'm hey, we don't talk about politics here.
Exactly.
And I said, especially up until about the age of 12 or 13, you don't even know what any of that is. So it's
And obviously she didn't.
Right.
Which means their parents didn't know what any of those were.
Exactly. And I was we don't talk about that here. And it's not known to our people until a certain age.
Exactly.
So...
And seeing liberals losing their ever-loving minds over that is both comical and sad at the same time, because how out of touch can you be as a human being to not understand why people voted how they did? People are just excited about the fact that they're kicking people out of their lives.
You actively voting against my rights. You are not my friend, and you are not my family. Do not speak to me ever again.
So this girl I actually knew personally. So I met her back in 2022 while I was still doing curly hair content on Instagram and on YouTube. And she also was a curly hair influencer on the same platforms. So we just, naturally met and we're cool with each other. So at one point in time, I started pivoting away from the curly hair content and she noticed that. And I guess because she wanted to grow herself, she was like, hey, can you help me out? I want to pivot away from curly hair content as well. I'm really passionate about being child-free and I want to start doing child-free content. And I'm not sure how to go about doing that. I'm kind of nervous. I'm kind of scared because it's different and I don't want to lose followers and stuff like that. And so I gave her my advice. I gave her motivation. I told her, go do what you got to do. If you are passionate about it, go do it. I believe in you, you can do it. I gave her advice. I gave her tips on what to do and what I did. Now, I didn't know at the time what her political leanings were, as she didn't know mine. But of course, as she saw my videos, she started realizing, oh, he's more conservative. And she's not. She's very, very, very liberal with her perspective on things. And she was very left-leaning, very anti-men. I'm a true believer in freedom of speech and the First Amendment. And I believe that every single person, if you have a platform, use it. I don't care what the issue is. Every American has a right to speak their truth. Yes. And to have an opinion without being deplatformed. Fast forward to this election. So she kept posting a lot of anti-Trump.
The thing is, we all have the freedom of choice to say what we want to say. Now, what a lot of people lack is the common sense to stay shut up at somebody's comments.
Right.
That is the biggest thing that you can do.
Yeah.
It's, if somebody seems to offend you, just don't say anything. Just move on to the next one.
Any kind of negative comment that I get on my channel anyway, I get rid of it. It's like I'm not even gonna look at it. You know, it's like I read a couple of little bits of it and then it's gone, and it's like I'm not even gonna have it on my channel.
Exactly.
You know? Like with yours, it's a little bit more up in the air because you do social, political work and stuff. You know, so it's like you kind of want that dynamic, but.
Yeah, I deal with Mediocre's channel and just a bunch of different channels. So.
And so it's the same thing with like this channel though. It's like you get like a really negative comment and you can kind of see where it's going, and it's like get rid of it. It's
exactly.
It's not even worth answering. It's not even worth thinking about. And same thing in everyday life. If somebody says something, you just let it go.
You really should. I mean, that's the biggest thing that you can do.
But look at what happens with Nicholas when he's doing street preaching.
I know.
And it's like they can't leave him alone.
Well, see, and he's the biggest one that I say that you should be like.
Yeah.
Nicholas is so how do you say it? Just composed.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's really a remarkable thing to watch.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, I've been on his show, his pod before, and I said stuff, and you know, he's talked back. Yeah.
Answered some questions and everything, and I guess that was one of the main ones you had asked.
Yeah.
How does he do that?
And I have it on one of my videos. One of my shorts or something. I think we put the thing just like we did with Mediocre's for the baby announcement. Which I hear you, Mediocre. Thank you.
That was cool. That was really cool.
Yeah.
That was kind of like I said. I was kind of out of it at the time when you first told me, but now I got to hear it. It was really neat.
But it was funny because that one all started on one of his lives.
On Halloween.
On Halloween, and we were getting ready we thought we were going to have the baby then. So I told him that on the live. I had a free shout out thing, so I did it. And he had told me, he's like, okay, man. He's like, as soon as, after it happens, let us know. Come back. He's like, I'll be on a live tomorrow. I'll be on a live next week. So one of his videos, because I wasn't sure when his live was going to be this last week, right?
Yeah.
Or was it a week before?
It was last week. It was right after he was born. I mean.
Yeah, right after he was born. So like last week, I think. I had just mentioned on one of his videos that he just did and said, hey man, we had our baby, and said some stuff. And he had commented back and he was like, watch my live. I'm going to be doing a live here in just a little bit. Watch it. And so I did. And sure enough, he had a nice shout out to me and stuff. And it was like a 2-minute ordeal.
Yeah. And he had everybody in the chat saying,
yeah, everybody.
Congratulations. And
so it was pretty cool.
It was really neat. It was really cool.
So, all right, let's get back to this.
Anti-MAGA, anti-right-wing stuff, like some extreme stuff. And I'm going to show you guys some videos of it. And it's really, really like just, wow, okay. No substance, just I hate you, F you, pretty much. Okay, again, that's her opinion. That's fine. So about 2 or 3 days before the election, she had posted a video stating that if you vote for Donald Trump, you are no different than a KKK member, and you voted the same way as the KKK.
You voted for a candidate endorsed by the KKK. For the rest of your life, you have to know that you voted the same way as the KKK.
Sure. So at that point in time, I was like, you know what? Let me just respond to this one little video that she just made really quickly. I'm not going to be mean. I'm not going to be nasty. I'm going to just, try to have a dialogue with her. Because we had never in the past done that. So I wrote her and I was like, hey, I love you. But remember, the Democrat Party was a party that fought for slavery, not against it. I'm just saying. Because she was claiming that Republicans are KKK members. So I'm thinking, okay, she may not like my comment, but maybe we can have a discussion about it, right? Because she's been open about her anti-Republican stance on everything, and I haven't blocked her, so maybe we can just talk about it. Yeah, the next day she blocked me. The very next day. So I got canceled again by a friend. And I thought to myself, wow, how sad. We've been friends this whole time. I helped you out when you didn't know what to do, how to even make videos outside of curly hair content. I gave you advice. I gave you advice on what to do, on how to pivot, on different tips that I use that helped me grow. And she used me for those things that helped her grow, and then blocked me when it was convenient for her to block me, when she had enough followers, I guess. So, and that's fine. That's her right. She wants to protect her peace. Go ahead and do that. Protect your peace. But I just think it's sad. I think it's sad that we're closing doors on people who we once were cool with for the simple fact that they have a different perspective than us. And rather than trying to sit down and understand that perspective and have a conversation, instead we're just, I'm not talking to you. I hate you. Go to hell. Okay. Of course, the ultimate irony of all of this is that they're calling us fascists and all of these stupid names, but they themselves are mimicking what communism looks like. When a big government tells you how to think, how to speak, how to talk, how to vote, and everybody else marches in tune, like the left does. And now that they've lost, they don't know what to do with themselves. So I'm going to just cut everyone out of my life. End of story. Okay, do that. Enjoy yourself. I have no right to tell you as an individual voter how you should be voting. That's not my right. And again, for a party that keeps fighting for democracy, when democracy was shown to them and the people spoke, they couldn't handle it. So they don't want democracy. No. They want a dictatorship. Think like us, talk like us, vote like us. Well, I got news for you. That ain't gonna happen. Not in this century. But let me know in the comments down below what you think of this video. And are you having any personal effects of what I'm talking about? Like, are people in your personal life cutting you out because they found out that you voted for Trump? If so, I would love to know your story down below. If you enjoy my content, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you know when I post a brand new video. Until next time, peace.
Peace. All right. Now we got Matt Walsh.
So Joy Reid wants to know how someone is supposed to interact with a family member who voted differently. This is the kind of question you only ask if you have the maturity and intelligence of a brain-damaged lizard. But for normal people, it's not confusing or difficult. You interact with your family members by speaking to them. I'd recommend starting with hello or, you know, a similar greeting. If you want to avoid talking politics with them, that's fine. I personally enjoy debating politics with my family, although we agree on the fundamentals. I don't have any Kamala voters in my family. But, you know, if you don't want to debate it, you don't have to. Your family is still your family.
Yes.
But that's not what this Yale psychiatrist says. According to her, your family is only...
You know, and you would think that your family is just your family. And, like, with mine, my dad and stuff, you know, they don't necessarily believe the same that we do. But we just don't discuss it then. Yeah. You know, there's plenty of other things to talk about. There's plenty of other things to have in common. It's fine. Just move over it. Yep. That's it.
Absolutely. Good.
But then there's you know, other family members that we have that they won't move over it.
Right. We mostly, like, you know, we didn't stop talking to them over their political beliefs or anything. We stopped talking to them because there was a totally different, very harmful situation.
Yes.
You know, so that was a totally different thing. But when you come back around to find out that their political beliefs are starting to now be aligned with that woke agenda,
yeah, exactly.
It's like, well, then I see why we weren't getting along. You know?
Yep.
And I swear your mother's just like a chameleon, because I remember distinctly talking about something about France once, and she's like, oh, those cowards, and she was being all patriotic and everything, because I think whoever she was going out with at the time was a Republican.
Yeah.
And then now she's married to a trans.
Yes.
You know, and you see her wearing, you know, no hate shirts with rainbows, and, you know, he's talking about, you know, Oreo and how, you know, he supports the youth, he supports the trans youth and all of this.
Yeah, and I just can't get behind that.
I can't either. And it's like, this is a totally different group of people than I remember playing Scrabble with.
I mean, we haven't talked to them in...
Well, it's even longer than I've been with my
I
mother,
know.
and we're going on 6 years there. So probably like 8 or 9 years.
Yes.
You know, that's freaking
It's crazy.
And she, you know, she still acts like that she is a part of your life, and she mentions.
Oh, I know, and she's had it in her social medias before and stuff, and about how great her life is.
Right,
and...
all the time, and it's like so blessed, and it's like you have no idea the wreckage that you caused or still causing, and
yep,
you've never made amends for that.
No,
you know. It's like, and as far as my mother goes, the last I knew, she wasn't a Trump supporter. You know,
I know,
but she flip-flopped. She was a chameleon and everything as well. You know,
the same type of situation.
Whoever she was around the most, she shared those ideals with.
Yes.
You know, like, I don't know.
It's crazy.
only your family if they agree with you politically. This is the kind of insight we can expect from Ivy League mental health experts. She is recommending isolation, alienation, and the severing of support systems.
Like I said, it's not
Okay,
the
that's
last
what
thing you want to do.
a psychiatrist is recommending.
It's like the last thing that you want to do.
I know.
I mean, it's like when you really are faced with that decision over a real subject, that's the last thing you want.
Exactly.
So you don't want to. I mean, it's hard.
I mean, especially since we just had a new child too.
Right.
I would love for them to be there.
To have an extended
I would love,
family.
for them to be able to like take him or to be there and just be like, oh my goodness, and dote over it. The only person that we've had able to do that still is my dad and my stepmother.
Right.
Who fully support us.
And yeah, they respect those boundaries.
Yeah, they respected the boundaries from the beginning.
Right. It was like, well, we went like 3 years, no contact with absolutely everybody. That was more of our decision, I think. Though,
Yeah.
Because it was like we needed to cut everybody out to find out who was sincere.
Yeah, and find out about ourselves
and
still too.
Like to reconnect with each other. I mean, we cut absolutely everybody out.
And that's what I'm saying is with him, he respected every boundary from those points even.
He didn't push me then. He didn't ask for anything more, and he let us have that time. And then one day he sends a letter, and then we have Tristan send a letter back, and then they do this back and forth for 3 or 4 months, and then he sends us a gift card and then something for our birthday.
Yep.
And it just little things. He took the steps. He took the time, and before you know it, Guru's going up there to spend the week.
And we've had a couple vacations with them.
Yeah, we went on vacation, went to Grey Wolf Lodge, know. And it's like it could be that simple for everybody else in the family, but they will not, under any circumstances, go through those steps.
No, they don't want to take the steps.
And that's the bare minimum. Because in my mother's case, she has to apologize and atone for a lot.
Yeah.
And I know that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And but the
and I mean, if she has a full-on epiphany and stuff happens, you never know.
Right. I mean, there still is hope.
Yeah.
Like I said, she could get struck by lightning or something, get a stroke, and decide that she's gonna atone for every sin she committed against me.
Yep.
But she has to first acknowledge that.
Yeah, and she's not one that does.
No, and I mean, I've acknowledged my sins and my part to play in that situation.
But then she calls you. Let's see, like better than her and everything else,
like,
just because you did that.
Yeah, she's like, you think that you're better than me, and I was like, I'm actually absolutely not. I admitted the things that I did, but no, she won't even do the bare minimum.
I know.
Now my grandmother, she keeps writing, but we keep offering more. And she won't take it.
Yeah.
And so now for the past 3 years or so, I haven't bothered.
Tried, yeah.
Because every summer I asked, you can come here, you can stay here, you can hang out with.
Oh, I know, and that's just it.
Your great grandchild.
And she has every means to be able to do it.
Right, but she won't do it.
No.
And so it's like, what are you supposed to do? Like I said, that's the last thing you want to do is alienate yourself from your family. That is really hard.
It is.
We have no outside support systems.
One of the only other people that we have besides my dad right now is my boss that I work for, Steve, who lives up the road. And I mean, he's helped us out so much.
I know. And
I've been working for him for 3 years, and he would do whatever we needed, really.
Yeah. I think almost 4 years now.
Yeah.
I think 4 years.
I've been working solely with him.
Yeah.
And like I said, he would do just about anything that we needed to help us out.
Yeah. I mean, he wants to see that growth and he gets stuff in return.
Yeah.
I mean, but, outside of that, we're alone.
I know.
So that's a really hard thing to swallow. But these people are throwing it around as if it's so easy.
I know.
I'm like, well, you must have a giant collection of friends or something in the echo chamber because when you do this for real, it's a really hard, lonely road.
It really is.
And no psychiatrist should be
backing that.
Yeah, it's just not the way to go.
No.
And it's just scary.
It is. It's very scary.
To people who are already obviously mentally unstable, which is like a cardiologist advising someone to elevate their cholesterol levels to like 300. I mean, it's the opposite of what you're supposed to be telling people to do, obviously. And if you're wondering why I'm extremely skeptical of the psychiatry profession, well, this woman is exhibit 1 million, approximately. A lot of people seem to have taken her advice, however. Here's a guy on TikTok giving his followers some self-care tips in the wake of the election results.
Well, good afternoon, you beautiful. Just a reminder that going no contact with somebody or people, family members, friends, because they voted for Trump and against your rights and your freedoms, in my opinion, is one of the ultimate forms of self-care.
Alienation.
That's about it.
Care.
Like, if someone wants you to have less rights and freedoms, then how the f is that? How is that person your family member or a friend? Why would you want to spend Thanksgiving with them? Why would you want to buy them gifts? Like, if they don't give a f about your rights and freedoms, then how the f do they give a f about you? That's it.
So some incredible wisdom. If they don't give an F about your rights and freedoms, then how the F do they give an F about you? I think he was quoting Aristotle there. Never mind the fact that none of these people can possibly explain which of their rights are threatened by Trump.
Right.
What right specifically has Trump promised to end? Which right? And they can't answer that. They can't even begin to answer it. That ultimately is why they want to cut off contact with their Trump-supporting family members. It's not that those family members are rude or abusive to them. It's that those family members may ask them to explain their political position, which is something they absolutely cannot do, and they know they can't do it. That explains this post from somebody named Derek over on X. He wrote, quote, "I have cut ties with my MAGA father and sister. I will never, ever speak to them again. I will spit on their graves. If you still hang out with your friends or family that votes for fascism, you need a long look in the mirror."
Oh, wow.
Yes, Derek says that if you are not spitting on the graves of your own family, you need to take a long look in the mirror. You need to stop and consider what went wrong in your life that you aren't disowning your family and spitting on their graves. That's what all the cool kids are doing. That's what all the totally well-adjusted and normal human beings are doing. I think the point has been made, but I will only reiterate that Derek here cannot explain how Trump is a fascist or what fascism is or why he's opposed to it, whatever it is. He has no clue. And he certainly doesn't want to be asked that question at Thanksgiving. He'd rather betray his own blood, stab them in the back, than have his own intellectual vacuousness exposed. Unfortunately for Derek, a little too late for that. We haven't even gotten to the worst example yet. Here's a Kamala voter attacking her own children for disagreeing with her dumb political views.
So here's a problem that I have dealing with my MAGA sons. They get very, very offended if I say that I think that they are ignorant to some things because of their support for this rapist and felon. But here's the thing. I have two choices when I try to understand why they would support an abhorrent human that goes against every value I tried to instill in them. Here's my two choices. I can believe that you are ignorant, or I can believe that you are evil.
Those are the only
Ignorant is the kinder choice.
So just to review, this horrific witch of a woman decided to make a TikTok video publicly accusing her own sons of either being ignorant or evil because they voted for someone she doesn't like.
Wow.
And what are they ignorant of? What information do you have, lady, about Trump that they don't have? Can you enlighten them? Can you share these salient details with them? I'm sure you've tried, but the problem is that you believe a bunch of nonsense that you heard from MSNBC. And your sons are too respectful to inform you that you are a pretentious dimwit with your head stuck up your ass. Unfortunately, you aren't my mom, so I can say that to you.
Yes, and I mean, depending on what news source you listen to, it could be downright just stupid.
Yeah, I tend to think that Fox News is kind of overblown and the whole doom and gloom and, you know, everything's, you know, like it from that side.
Yeah.
And then like MSNBC is like that from the other side. You know,
of course they have to have their one side that they're coming from.
Right. You know, it's like like you were saying the other day, the Republicans are always saying, "Oh God, they're going to take my guns," you know, and the Democrats are always saying, "Oh my God, they're going to take away my bodily autonomy." You know, so
it's like we can't have middle ground and just be like, "Hey, this is the way it is."
I know.
You know.
I know. It's like they need to get, in my opinion, they need to get rid of the whole party system.
Yes.
And just elect somebody that represents everybody as a whole.
And then elect the vice president right along with him.
Like in many tribes, you know, it's very clear who votes for who. They don't try to hide it. They're like, you have a black stone and you have a white stone, and if you want this guy, you put it here. You put it on the
and if you want this one, you put that there.
And then like the second guy, if there's two, you know, if there's sometimes there's more, but like if there's two, the other guy, the guy that loses, he becomes a counselor. You know, he becomes
the vice president or whatever. Yes,
right.
Exactly.
And they work together still because they have the same interest at heart.
Yes.
For the tribe.
Exactly.
But that's kind of how it used to be done.
Yeah.
I mean, in the First Nations and everything here, I mean, why did they stray away from that? And
because they had to try to figure out other systems that would work better, but they just made it worse.
Right. No, I can't see how that could have ever been a good thing. You know, it's like,
no,
just represent America as a whole, and you should be good. I mean, you shouldn't have to choose between, somebody, I don't know, somebody that doesn't share 100% of your values.
Exactly, you shouldn't.
And they kind of made it that way, either way.
Yeah,
you know,
they have.
No matter who you pick, they still win. You know, the government wins.
Yeah, it does. They really have made it that way. Full on. What's up?
Sancho said these woke people are the last people who should be using virtue signals.
That's true.
They won't say it, I'm guessing, because they care about their family, which is more than I can say about you. Ever feel like you're being watched on the internet? Unfortunately, you're not just being paranoid. You are indeed being monitored every single time you go online. Internet service providers.
How do I know where?
You'll see a box pop up at the bottom. I usually don't click on it. I just hover. Almost. I cut the ads out for you guys. There you go.
Election. Now, let me end this with just one last thought for any leftist considering cutting off contact with family members who committed the sin of having a mind and opinions of their own. You're free to make that choice, of course, but if you do, please don't bother us a few years from now with some tearful follow-up video crying about how lonely and sad you are. Okay? Please don't do that. Because none of us will have any sympathy for you. Nope. None of us will care. You know what? Actually, we'll laugh in your face. We will laugh at your pain right in your face. Because you're choosing it. You are choosing to be isolated and alone. I mean, that woman in that video, she's going to die alone. Her family's going to hate her. She's going to be in a nursing home, just dying alone with no one to even visit her. And if they do, they're going to do so begrudgingly because they don't want to spend any time.
And we all know those people. Those people are out there, and those people are in abundance right now.
Yeah. They're sensitive. What'd you do?
I was getting ready to click it again, and I did this.
Getting ready to click it again, or did you?
No, I didn't click
it. Try to click it.
Any time with her, and she's going to be really sad about that. But you know what? I don't care. Your pain means nothing. You deserve it. To return from a theme from last week, that's justice. You deserve that. You are disowning and disavowing the only people who love and care about you unconditionally. Now, for most of the people in these videos and most of these leftist types who would want to disown their families, like, The rest of us don't want to be around you or talk to you or even get to know you because you're incredibly unpleasant and insufferable. Going back to that woman in the video, like no other person in the world, I guarantee you, no one wants to be around that woman. She has no real friends. Either friends that she has hate her guts and talk about her behind her back. No one wants to be around a person like that. No way.
It's true.
You do have a family though. And your family loves you anyway. Right? If you push them away, you'll be left with no one. You'll be miserable and alone and alienated from the only people who ever cared about you or wanted to be around you.
One of the last.
And you'll deserve it.
Okay. Like you just said.
Like one of the last conversations I had with my mother before I kicked her out of the house here was like, you're gonna die old, alone, miserable, and disappointed by everybody, just like you lived your life. And she gave me the coldest look and just shrugged.
Like, oh well.
She's like, yeah, probably. You know, and I had many conversations with her over the years that ended kind of the same way.
Yeah.
You know, it was like, you know, why can't you just accept me? Why can't you just love me? Why can't you just act like you're proud of me?
And I can't.
Well, you know why. You know that's not going to happen because of her experience with her own family.
Yeah.
I'm like, so I'm pointing it out to you, something that you could very easily and willingly change.
Yes.
But she was not willing to. She
Exactly.
wouldn't do it, you know, so yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
So how are these people not aware that they are wrong or mindlessly evil? What's worse is that they blame us and not going to receive accountability for what they're doing. Yeah, they always turn it around on the innocents and the righteous to be like, we're the bad guys.
Yeah, they do.
And it's like, you just gotta live your truth and
yeah, you just gotta live in what you know, the truth.
Yeah.
And be. I mean, you can't let other people control or dictate what happens to you.
Right. Be strong.
But hey, at least you'll have made a statement about Trump. A statement that will have no impact on the world outside of your own life, which you will have made even more miserable than it already was. And that is why you will be at that point, and are now already today, canceled. Hey, YouTube, thanks for listening to the show. If you'd like access to my full show with no ads, you should go to dailywire.com.
Finish up with our own
All right.
sort of
Yes.
cancellation.
Yes, that was what we got. Now we're going on to our own thing.
Yeah, so this is like I'm gonna call this like comment of the week or comment of the Wednesday. I don't know. I found like a few over the, course of your YouTube career so far.
Yeah.
And I thought I want to start like actually, being able to show it on the screen.
Yeah, we'll find a way to.
But there's some like really good comments out there about the things that we talk about.
Yes.
And this one was from my own Facebook, and it's something that you posted. And I can't show you. I guess I can kind of show you. I don't know if it's going to come out or not, but it's a simple picture. This was just after the election. Okay,
yes.
So this is how sensitive people are. Okay. And actually, before I start with this, I want to tell you that the person that commented this is a really nice person. And they went out of their way, above and beyond, to help us during the fire.
Yes.
And brought us fresh, real groceries and everything, and gave us some gas money and all that. So
they really did. They helped a lot.
They really are good people. But she got triggered by this really simple meme. And the meme shows a typical, it looks like it was done from the 1930s. It's a guy chopping wood, and there's a woman in the background. She's holding a baby. There's two kids sitting there watching their dad. It's a pretty simple picture. There's a log cabin in the background, right? And it says very simply, masculine men inspire feminine women. Feminine women inspire masculine men, right?
Yes.
So simple enough. It seems like it should be that everybody can kind of agree on that.
Yes.
But she got hung up on the picture. And she says, a masculine man is one who masters his inner self and his emotions, not one who thinks that he can hold a woman as his property. I'm not going back. She comments again.
There's that wokeist mindset.
That's right. And then she couldn't leave it alone still. She had to put another comment. Nobody said anything. She just commented again. And she said, Once masculinity or femininity is not judged by the task and chores that they have to do, it is set by their emotional intelligence, their maturity, and their compassion, their ability to see from another perspective. How to cause problems where there were none, just to prove to his ego that he is dominant. Who? This propaganda and rhetoric has to stop before we're all forced to wear burqas and be the property of our fathers or husbands. And then in all capitals, she says, not going back. So I'll probably post this on your channel for people to see, but because I kind of want to see what they have to say about that. I mean, I didn't say anything political.
No.
I didn't say, and I agree with that masculinity is not judged by household chores or tasks or whatever. It is all of those things. But she made it political. And then not going back to what?
See, that's what I want to know.
Right.
When we saw it, it's like, I want to know, not going back to what? What were you in yourself that
you're not going back to?
Yeah,
you know, because
exactly.
It certainly wasn't 4 years ago or 8 years ago. And if you're talking about like the 1960s or whatever, for one thing, it wasn't probably as bad as they say, at least based on my
she
own
wasn't
experience.
alive then.
And she wasn't alive then. She wasn't there. I mean, this reminds me of the African American people that go around saying, I was a slave.
I know, and that one drives me nuts too.
It's
like
the same thing.
It's like, damn, I didn't know you were that old.
I know, right? You look pretty good for your age, old Moses. You know, but it's like, what? I mean, so yeah, in this case, it's like, what are you not going back to?
Exactly.
And I do take offense to her saying that, you know, we're going to have to be wearing burqas, because a lot of those women in those cultures enjoy wearing their burqas.
They do.
If I could go out in public and having cover my face, I would choose that as well. You know, I don't want to, I mean, that would be great. You don't have to worry about makeup.
Exactly.
Everybody's the same. Nobody's judging you on your appearance. Just cover my face. Let me go. You know?
Exactly.
So it's like, that's really kind of racist thing to say, I think.
It really is.
I mean, I took offense to it. It's like, what's wrong with burqas? You know?
Nothing.
But we never have worn them here in the States, you know, unless you happen to be Muslim.
Yeah.
And so what's she going back to there?
Well, yeah, I don't know. See, that's what I don't know.
So I think I might reach out and say, I mean, honestly, I do want to know what are you going back to, not going back to?
Yeah.
And who are you referring to when you say how to cause problems where there were none, just to prove to his ego he's dominant?
I know.
Who? You know, I mean, I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't either.
I'll keep you posted on that. And I'll post this to your page so people can take a look at
yes.
this. And
we'll get that reposted.
You'll just kind of see how sensitive some of the people are out here, even out here.
Yeah, I know. Even out here, I mean, that says a lot.
I mean, one of the teacher's aides from his old school was having a breakdown and saying, "Well, I guess I can't wait to pack my bags and get out of here."
I know, and so many people are like, "Oh, I gotta leave now because this country doesn't know what it's doing," and leave.
Well, then where are you gonna go?
Leave.
Yeah, right. Go to France where they're free to love whoever they want, and then they riot all the time.
Exactly.
Well, okay. I mean, Paris. Go to Paris if you're gonna do that. But
yeah.
Yeah. Elizabeth from Sancho just now said, "You guys are doing fantastic work. You guys have the charisma."
Yeah, I saw that one.
Many others like me would dream of. That's nice. That's
yes,
cool.
Thank you. We try to keep it up.
It honestly just started with us having a conversation while we were watching videos.
And we thought, hey, we could do this. And
and then so now we just include you guys. So it's like this nice casual family environment. We can discuss these things. And I mean, I'm always open to other perspectives and everything as well. So
yeah, we don't mind that.
Yeah.
We love we love more people to join and get the take of more people. I mean, the more the better to know truly what's out there.
What's at the heart of it all? You know,
Yes.
it's like what drives you to hold on to these beliefs so tightly.
Exactly.
You know, as long as you're respectful.
Yes. Yeah. You have to be respectful.
Yeah. If you come in like a douche, I'm just automatically going to judge you, and you're gone. You know.
Yep.
So, but
Olay.
yeah, so that's what I got, and I'll post it. I'll get rid of the names and stuff, of course. But yeah, I mean, I was just really shocked by that. I don't know.
I don't either. I don't.
But from now on, I'll try to get the comment to put up on the screen so
Yes,
we
yes.
can share that with them at the time.
Yeah, and we can do it through the screen sharing
Yeah,
too.
it says I can. All I have to do is send you a file.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. Well, I think I just have to send you the file and then you can open it, but I'll have to show you how to get it.
Yeah, we'll have to work with that and see what we can do. I'm still learning all these programs, ladies and gentlemen.
You did good, though. And now I can get back to work soon.
Yep. All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That's my live for today.
Thank you, Sancho.
Thank you, Sancho. Always enjoy having you here. Namaste, ladies and gentlemen.
Have a good night.
Have a great night.
Oh, and Friday.
Oh, yeah. Friday, we're doing our special of all about Amos and how he was born, our story with him. You'll want to catch that one. It'll be at least a 2-hour special. Because we really want to get it in there and allow people to see just how.
And we can do your live baby review.
Yes.
So he can make his first appearance.
Bing. All right. Namaste, ladies and gentlemen.
Have a good night. Thank you. Good job.
And namaste.